Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Friday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Got a really good show lined up today. We're going to kick it off here in just a second on the Titan More Hotline with Chris Doering from the SEC Network. Second portion of today's show, we got Kelly Rae Finley, head coach of your women's basketball team that sits at 20-6 right now, 10-3 in the SEC, and having a phenomenal year. But let's go to the Titan More Hotline right now, and we're joined by the world-famous Chris Doering from the SEC Network. Good morning, Chris. How are you, my man?
Good morning, man. And Kelly Rae Finley, is that not the best story on campus this year? I mean, nobody's ever paid attention to women's basketball, and I check every morning to see the night before if they won. Man, it's been an amazing run the last.
So you're saying you don't watch you don't tune in for the games? You just wait for the results?
Yeah, I haven't got that far yet, Shane. Come on. I mean, did you ever step foot in the O'Connell Center to go to a women's game when you were in school?
I think once. I will tell you this, Chris, because I played a lot of intramural basketball, as you did as well, because that's just what we do. But I'll never forget when they used to have the practice courts there in the O'Connell Center, and I can't remember the girls' names, and I feel horrible about this. They asked me to come, we were down in Yon Hall eating. They asked me to come over and play a little pickup basketball with them. My goodness, were they physical. Holy cow.
They wear you out?
Oh, they were more physical than playing with guys. It was unbelievable. So I do respect those girls, and it's a phenomenal story. So we'll talk to Kelly Rae about how she's turned the program around very quickly. But Dory, we want to bring you on. Obviously, talk a little college football real quick, but also you're sponsoring this Steve Spurrier Coaches Award that's going out at the banquet Monday at Coach Spurrier's restaurant at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. And just tell us how it all came about and how you got Chris Doering Mortgage as the sponsor.
Yeah, Mike Griffith from Dog Nation, he's been around the SEC for a long time. He's one of the heads of the Football Writers Association of America group, and started talking to me last summer about how, Coach Spurrier needs to be honored. And, I think you and I and everybody else that's ever played for the guy would agree. He's a legendary coach, not only in the SEC, but in college football. So we started talking about this first year Coach of the Year award. It goes to a guy that's in his first year at his respective school. And as you remember, Coach Spurrier was fabulous in the first year of any program he took over, whether it was at Duke or your team in 1990 at Florida or on at South Carolina, where he actually won the award before it was named with a coach's name as associated with it. So it's something Coach is really proud of. I'm really excited to be a part of it. And when we were looking for sponsors for it, I said, man, why don't I just do it myself with our mortgage company? And so it's been a nice first year. And as you know, when you're trying to get something off the ground, things seem a little chaotic. But here we are coming up on Monday, February 21st. We'll have not only Shane Beamer and Josh Heupel, two coaches from the conference here that are sharing the first year Coach of the Year award. But we'll also, I think Coach Napier's supposed to be there. I know Scott Strickland's going to be there. So a lot of different SEC figureheads that'll be a part of this event here in Gainesville on Monday night.
Yeah. So were you involved in any of the voting process for this?
Yeah. I was involved in the voting, and it was, as you can imagine, it was pretty hotly contested. If you go back and look at, the resumes of each of those coaches of their respective teams, Tennessee and South Carolina were picked to finish near the bottom of the conference, and both had the same problems with attrition through the transfer portal. Both had a lot of negativity around the program with coaches having been fired the previous season. So it was really unexpected. I think you look at the head-to-head, obviously Tennessee won that game over South Carolina, but Tennessee did lose the bowl game. South Carolina was able to have a big win over North Carolina. So it was very close in the voting, and at the end of the day, it sounds kind of like a bailout, but I really do think there were two coaches that were pretty difficult to discriminate against one another.
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously with South Carolina winning their bowl game, that probably had a lot to do with it. We got a couple of Facebook Lives here. brought to you by Melton Law, the only official law firm part of the Florida Gators. Andy asks, Chris, now that Chiswick is going to North Carolina, who will you be working with at the SEC Network?
Man, I wish I knew, Shane. It's really something that I don't have any say over whatsoever. But I think one of the things that I enjoyed so much about doing our show was the chemistry that Coach and I and Dari had. The friendship was real, offset, and so very difficult. When he called and told me he was leaving, I was happy for him because I know the fire was still burning inside of him to get back out there and coach again. But selfishly, I think Dari and I will really miss him, and so hopefully we'll get an opportunity. I'm not sure. Ben Watson joined us last year, so I'm hoping Ben will be back with us on Saturdays. But I'm sure they're looking for some sort of coach to try to come in and balance off the opinions that Ben and I have from the players' perspective.
Lauren says Chris Doering was the man. He ran a nice flag route. I hadn't heard it called a flag route in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute, right?
Yeah. John says here on Facebook Live, got to get that workout in so Chris can keep wearing those extra small shirts with PB in the mornings.
Y'all are lucky I got a shirt on this morning. Shane, I'm have a propensity to take the shirt off. So this is just got out of the gym right here in your neighborhood. I probably should have just come over to your house and done this show directly with you. But
that's right.
Yeah, just had to get it in this morning, man.
A bunch of people here have asked, any chance it could be Dan Mullen, you think, in the studio?
Yeah, I think Dan obviously has shown that he has great talent on air, did a really nice job at both the SEC championship game and the national championship work he did. So he would be a good fit from a resume standpoint, knowing this conference and having been fresh off the sidelines. So I think he's definitely one that the network probably is considering.
We got a text on the Titan or text line from Ryan. He says, I'm fortunate to be a guest of a sponsor for the HBC's award dinner Monday night. And since Chris is the title sponsor, I need him to try to get the Bananas Foster French toast on the menu despite it being a brunch item. Haven't been to Spurs, and I am pumped to go. But, man, I want some of that French toast. Shane, I can't wait to hear you break down the Daytona 500 today. No breaking down the Daytona 500. Doran, you know much about race car driving?
I don't know a thing about race car driving, and I feel pretty guilty about the fact that I've grown up here in Gainesville and never set foot inside of the speedway over there in Daytona.
Never.
No, have you been?
I have once. I went to a race. My first race was when I was with the Panthers in Charlotte at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, but I've only been to two. It's something that I think you would enjoy to a degree. It's just a big party, Doran. You like parties.
Yeah. I love parties, and I would say that remember that picture of Coach back at the 500? He had his shirt off, had like a Coors Heavy, he was drinking there. It looked like a lot of fun. So if I could do that, that would be great. Yeah,
no doubt about it. All right, Chris, if people want to attend the event Monday, are tickets still available?
I think we're running close to being out of them, but I do believe there are tickets available. I think the Gator Club or the quarterback club here in Gainesville was promoting it, so it might be on their website. I'm a bad host and sponsor to come on here and not know the link to get tickets, but I do.
Well, you're not in charge of selling tickets.
That's true. I'm just writing the check for the sponsorship and trying to organize this award. But yeah, selling tickets is not as part of my job description.
All right. Before we let you go, I just got to get your thoughts because I've seen a lot of former players recently and at different events, and this college football, Chris, is driving me crazy. And I know I'm old school. There's not a damn thing we can do about it. You got to look forward. But the transfer portal, I don't really have a problem with because I understand kids want to play. But the NIL thing, it's getting worse and worse. And it makes absolutely no sense to me. I want your thoughts on the NIL.
Well, first and foremost, you would have absolutely cleaned up on the NIL. You'd have been the biggest NIL fan there was back in the day.
But that's true. But let me backtrack there. I think you have to do something in order to get an NIL deal. For kids getting deals that have never done anything and may never play, may never perform, that's what I have a problem with.
I agree. I think you look right now on a lot of the rosters, guys that have been big contributors and producers are making less money than the guys that are coming in from high school and haven't even done anything. So I'm with you there. I do think eventually the market will regulate and it'll become more normalized. But the rule was put into place for players to take advantage of their name, image, and likeness, not as inducements to come play at a specific school. We've seen, the kid from signed at Ohio State, reportedly getting 7 figures coming out of high school, never even did anything. Now it's not even at the school anymore. So it's very flawed. The problem is that the NCAA is too scared to get involved. I mean, the NCAA is just a shell of what it was. You remember when we were kids, like, dude, you didn't want the NCAA messing with you. I remember, 93, we wanted to go play in Auburn. Our game wasn't even on television because Auburn was on probation. And now they wouldn't dream of putting a team on probation that might hurt the television partnership that they have with ESPN and Fox and everybody else. So the NCAA, somebody's got to step in and create some sort of guidelines for this NIL, because it's the wild, wild west out there right now.
It really is. A couple of Facebook Lives before we get you out of here. Andy's got a question. He says, Chris, he asked me too, what was the difference between Steve Spurrier, the college coach, and Steve Spurrier, the NFL coach?
I don't think there was much different at all. I think that was part of, maybe what some of the issue was with some of the players, as you remember in Washington. I had guys asking me, is Coach being serious? And one of the ways that Coach would kind of, he wasn't necessarily getting on us, yelling and screaming and everything else. The sarcasm, as you know, was one of the things that he did to kind of get his point across, and that didn't necessarily go over well with the players at the NFL level. But I honestly believe, Shane, I think he would have figured it out had he been there a little bit longer, had it been a more tenable situation, had he gone to a different team. I think he would have figured it out. The guy's too good of a football coach, too good of a play caller, and unfortunately, I just think it was not a good fit from the get-go with the ownership structure there in Washington.
Well, I like to tell people there's three things in my opinion. A, it was the owner. B, he never had a legitimate NFL starting quarterback. And 3, protection schemes. Other than that, he was damn good, and as good as anybody. Couple more here. Don wants to know if is Doering a cardio guy or an iron guy?
A little bit of both, more of an iron guy, but today was more of a cardio type workout. We did some EMOMs today with some clean complexes, and then got on the Aerodyne a little bit. Come on, EMOM every minute on the minute. So we did a deadlift, power clean, hang clean, front squat complex, one of those every minute for 12 minutes. So that was kind of get your heart rate going, and then. We got into some Aerodyne bike stuff and some rower stuff. So it's a little bit more of a sweat today.
Sounds terrible. John wants to know, tell us your thoughts on what you think of Billy Napier.
Man, I love him so far. I've had a chance to talk to him. I love the coaches that I've talked to. I love, first and foremost, for my mortgage company, it's been tremendous with all of the hires that he's made. We've had an opportunity to work with a number of them. But I think the focus and the plan is what I've been most impressed with. Having a chance to talk to Katie Turner, who gave a great presentation from what I hear the other night at the quarterback club. Her message is, hey, everything we do is well thought out, planned, and there is nothing left to chance. And I think that's quite a contrast from the stories that we've heard from the previous coaching staff. So it may take a little bit. We've seen some traction already, but I think that 2023 class is going to be tremendous. I know everybody was excited to hear that Florida was in the mix with Arch Manning all of a sudden.
Yeah, Chris, we got a text here on the Titan Mark text line from Jim. Jim says, Chris, give me your early prediction of who plays for the national title next year.
Man, I think Alabama's probably a shoe-in given, all the returning production from last year. Quite a contrast from what we saw as they transitioned from 2020 to 2021. So I think they'll be there. Clemson's got an awful lot of young production that's coming back too. They struggled last year early in the season before getting it together. I wouldn't be surprised to see 2 SEC teams in the mix again. That West is going to be an absolute meat grinder, though, with some of the ways that whole bottom of the division has stepped up. Ole Miss, getting that kid from USC, I think is going to be huge for them. I was out there in Oxford when he and the tight end were visiting. Man, he looks like an impressive kid. So I'm excited about that whole Western division and how difficult that is going to be for everybody on that side.
How do you think old Brian Kelly's going to do? I mean, I just laugh every time I see something posted on him on Twitter. I mean, have you met him yet since he's part of the SEC now?
No, I haven't met him yet. Yeah, he's given everybody a lot to have fun with, though, hadn't he? Between the accent and I mean, if you're that recruit I mean, obviously, going to Alabama instead of LSU was one message that was sent. Like, can you imagine being immortalized as part of that video going forward? It just, I don't even think that. Could you imagine Coach Spurrier agreeing to get on and do something like that with recruits? I don't care how much visibility you're going to get. I can't see, man.
It's so bad, so bad. Okay, Chris, I want to get your thoughts also. Caleb Williams, the kid that transferred from Oklahoma, was he was the number one quarterback coming out of high school. Goes to OU, waits his time, finally gets in there when they bench Spencer Rattler, and then his coach leaves. And then it almost became like a bidding process is what the word was out there. At one time, Georgia was throwing money at him, supposedly. He ends up back with Lincoln Riley, which I think is a good fit. I think SC is going to be the cream of the crop now out west. I mean, we talked about it earlier. What are your thoughts on a player doing what he was doing?
Well, this is the first year. Remember, name, image, and likeness went into action, last July? So this is the first time that we've gone through a full year of it where we've seen, coaches leave and have the ability, to bring players along with them. I think that's a really slippery slope that you're dealing with, and you factor in the bidding war that you alluded to there. I just something, again, there has to be some guidelines that are put together to prevent, things like this happening. But I think it's a great illustration. And anybody that ever lied in the past and said, hey, I'm going here because of the school, nobody's going anywhere because of the school. They're going somewhere because of the coach, the scheme that's running, and the opportunity for those guys to get them to the next level.
Yeah. We got a text on the Titan our text line from Keith. Keith says, Doering, you are such a good sport on your show with Peter Burns. Hopefully the Gators can beat the LSU Tigers this year. I guess he's referring to when you have to dress up in your silly outfits.
It's been 3 years in a row, Shane. I mean, 2 years ago, we were 21-point favorites at home and ended up losing. Last year, we were, 11-point favorites and had to lose. I felt really good about the last 2 years, and in both instances, we ended up losing. So, yeah, we got to get that monkey off our back for sure so I can get a little bit of payback with PB.
Yeah. All right, Doering, appreciate it. Once again, let everybody know about Monday.
Yeah, Coach Spurrier, the first-year Coach of the Year award being given to Josh Heupel and to Shane Beamer, two coaches from our conference that'll be coming to town, man. I'm excited about Monday to have 3 active SEC coaches with Coach Napier scheduled to be there with a legendary coach like Coach Spurrier. And he has a large speaking role, Shane, so it should be fun getting a chance to listen to him present some of these trophies on Monday night.
So the head ball coach is going to get up there and talk for a while?
Oh, yeah. We were talking. It was kind of a run through the other night on what everybody's parts are, and so he's studying up on his lines and what he's supposed to do on Monday.
That's hilarious. All right, well, the good stuff, man. We appreciate you taking the time to join the program. Go get you a shower, my man.
Yeah, man. Always, Shane. Thanks, bro. See ya.
All right, that's Chris Doering. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. And we appreciate him taking the time. Again, if you want to, he doesn't know how many tickets. I don't know how many tickets are still available for Monday night at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill for the first annual Steve Spurrier Coaches Award. Go ahead and check that out online and see. But it should be a really, really good event. Just got a text here on the Titan MR hotline. Yeah. I'll answer that one later. We got a couple of Facebook Lives here I want to get to. Don't forget, we're going to have Kelly Rae Finley at 8:30. She'll be joining us on the Titan MR hotline. Lauren says, I remember SMU getting the death penalty and then Houston hanging a Franklin on them years later. Yeah, they dropped 100 on them. There's no question. John says, imagine the NIL deals that Arch Manning will land. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Hey, folks, if you need a wrap for your car, check out Wrap Spot. They're opening their second location in the heart of Gainesville at 1931 North Main Street. Wrap Spot's teamed up with a crew at Vibrant Vinyl Works to offer color change wraps, advertising wraps, custom striping, hood wraps, and wall wraps. So go check out our good friends at the Wrap Spot. We appreciate Chris joining us. Don't forget, we'll have Kelly Rae Finley at 8:30. Let me get to some of these Facebook Lives until we take our first break. Andy says Katie Turner is a must-get for Pot Up. She was amazing at the QB Club. Yeah, we'll get her on. I don't like to bother with you. I mean, I know her and her little squad went to the quarterback club and did a little presentation. We'll get them on the program. There's no question. We'll get Coach Napier here soon before they get cranked up in spring ball. But don't forget, if you got any questions for Kelly Rae Finley, shoot them to us via the text line or on Facebook Live. Got a couple of texts here. I'm going to tighten them our text line to get to. It says, good morning, guys. Well, this is from Daryl. He thought JC, we gave JC the day off because anytime Doering wants to be on, we kick JC to the curb. It says, JC, this is a text for you. My first Daytona 500 was in 1976. I was 9 years old. My favorite QB for the Gators, or number 9. My favorite NASCAR driver car number is number 9. I'm diehard. I take my handheld scanner into the track so I can listen to the spotters and crew chiefs talk to the drivers. With all that being said, the way the state of Georgia has been on a roll, I'm saying the pride of Dawsonville, Georgia, Chase Elliott, wins the Daytona 500. And before the race, Luke Combs is going to put a little South on you. Oh, I didn't know Luke Combs was going to be singing there. Chase Elliott's the 9 car, Daryl. So, yeah, he's from Georgia. So we shall see. I think he drives a Mountain Dew car now. But anyway, anybody else got any predictions? On Friday, Saturday or Sunday? I think it's Sunday, isn't it? Let me scroll up here. I loved John's comment about Doering wearing the extra small shirts. Cooper Carlisle and I give Doering crap all the time on his shows about that. Daniel says, hey, Chris, used to see you around campus. I saw you in Jax one time. It's great seeing you be successful in your broadcasting career. Yeah, Doering does a tremendous job on the SEC network with the rest of that crew. It'll be interesting to see, as y'all mentioned, who they hire to replace Gene Chizik. I bet it wouldn't be surprised if it's not Dan Mullen. So anyway, let's go ahead. The Daytona 500 is Sunday at 2:30. Don't forget, tomorrow the Gators host the Auburn Tigers in basketball. Is Auburn still number 1? I know after they lost, I can't remember if they're still number 1 or if Gonzaga moved to number 1. But the Auburn Tigers roll into the O'Connell Center. Ooh. Now, Auburn has not played great on the road this year. They've won a lot of close games. Don't forget that the Gators played the Auburn Tigers very close up in Auburn earlier in the year, had a chance. So we shall see. But it's going to be tough. Going to be very, very tough. We got let's see, Auburn's number 2 now. Okay. Wayne Fields, former Gator, says they need golfers for April 2nd. The first annual Leonard George Willie Jackson Endowment golf tournament at the Mark Bostic. If anyone's interested in that, it'll be a ton of former Gators there. It's for a great cause. We'll get some more information and post it on the program. That's the April 1st, 2nd. Is it April 1st or 2nd? I'm out of town. I was going to play in April 2nd. So if you're a golfer and you want to help out the Leonard George Willie Jackson Endowment, which is a phenomenal cause, check that out. And it's April the 2nd. Let's see what else we got here. Joseph says another L for White and Company, unfortunately. Well, not many people are beating the Auburn Tigers. They have 2 losses on the year. One is in like double or triple overtime to UConn. And then their other loss was to Arkansas on the road. So Peter says, no, this is a bit random, but QB, what do you think of the post corner route as it relates to its success compared to other routes? Well, technically, we never called it a post corner. We just called it a corner route. We'd run 12 to 14, stick our foot in the ground and 45-degree angle. We threw those countless hours on air for timing, spacing, trajectory. So it's in my opinion, it's the best route in football because it can be thrown at a high angle, a flatter angle. Quarterback can kind of dictate the throw, but it's best route in football. Danny was extremely good at it. So was Rexy. Andy says we need to get Niles Lane on the court for at least 30 minutes. He makes everyone on the court better and doesn't need to score. He's a really good player. Very good player. I agree with that. Wayne says, No, Lauren was telling Wayne he can putt, but that's about it. Well, they'll be happy to have you out there, Lauren, but you would like it. A lot of old-time Gators will be there. A lot of guys from the 70s, 80s, 90s will be participating. I wish I could be a part of it, but I've already got I'll be out of town that weekend. Jeff says the Gators thumped a good Auburn team 2 years ago, 69-47 in the O-Dome. I remember that. Ooh, I don't see that happening Saturday. Hope I'm wrong. It would be a tremendous win. I think the Gators have to win at least 3 or 4 more games to make the tournament or make a big run in the SEC tournament, which is down in Tampa in like 3 weeks, believe it or not. So should be a lot of fun. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and take a timeout, come back. We'll be joined by Rae Finley, head basketball coach of your Lady Gators women's basketball team. Make sure you send us some questions and comments for her. We appreciate her taking the time to join our program. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doering Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avera and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Are you tired of being sidelined by nagging pain? Hi, I'm Emmett Smith, Hall of Famer and Dance with the Stars champion. Happy to tell you about QC Kinetics and their biologic therapies for treating pain without drugs or surgery.
Are you suffering from chronic pain in your hips, knees, shoulder, or lower back? Are you tired of living with arthritis pain? QC Kinetics offers natural pain treatment that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints.
Listen, I know pain, and I've seen firsthand how powerful biologic therapies can be. Patients at QC Kinetics rave about their result because they're getting their lives back. They are getting moving again.
These exciting regenerative treatments used to be available only to pro athletes like Emmett. Now they're available to anyone thanks to QC Kinetics. Call today for your free consultation.
Get long-lasting results from my friends at QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. In North Central Florida, call 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Nike, Regal Cinemas, Le Macaron, Dave & Buster's, Medici's, Palmetto Moon, and the HBC's restaurant. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, now serving brunch on Saturday and Sundays. We'll see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. I want to thank Chris Doering for joining us on the Titan MRI hotline. We're waiting on Kelly Rae to join us. She'll be joining us in just a second. Let's get to This Day in Sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. They're hiring team members with all levels of experience. $1,000 signing bonus for qualified positions. Give Comfort Temp a call, 352-376-2366. This Day in Sports, 2001. I remember exactly where I was. The 43rd Daytona 500. Michael Waltrip wins the tragic race. The last lap crash claims the life of Dale Earnhardt, prompting sports to implement a new safety procedure. I was in the Charlotte airport traveling home, and boy, can you imagine what the Charlotte airport was like when that happened. But yeah, that happened on this day in sports back in 2001. That's brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. As we wait on Kelly Rae to join us. Let's see what a couple of people here say. Dan says, "What's up, my dude? Gator softball weekend." Yes, we got baseball tonight. First pitch, Coach Napier. I think Coach Napier's throwing the first pitch out for softball and baseball tonight. Liberty's in, and softball are obviously, I think they're 5 or 6-0 already. John says, "I guess Strickland is waiting on her to win the Naismith Coach of the Year before he names her the coach." Joking. Yeah, I think something probably is already in place that we're just not aware of. Natasha has a question here for Kelly, so I'll come back to that one when she joins us here in just a few minutes. And Dan says the new players on the softball team are looking very good. Yes, they are. Tim does a good job recruiting. There's no question about it. So at Chris Doering Mortgage, they do mortgage lending, right? Helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doering Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. Still waiting on Coach Kelly Rae to join us. As soon as she does, we'll plug her in and get your comments and questions to her. I got a bunch of them here on the Titan MR hotline that we got to get to. Wayne tells Lauren regarding the golf tournament, "Come putt and donate to the cause. All proceeds go to fund one of the 85 football scholarships awarded each year to a student athlete in the names of Leonard and Willie." And that is very true. This is very, very true. John says there's a 6'8" left-handed pitcher starting Sunday for selling. We have a 6'8" pitcher? I didn't realize that. Kemp likes my T-shirt. Where'd I pick that one up? This one's old. I don't know if they even have these around anymore. This is from, Tim Walton gave me this one probably 10 years ago, and I still wear it. Andy asks, completely off topic, but what would you be up? Would you be up to being honoring Mr. Two Bits? They asked me to do Mr. Two Bits while my son was still playing high school ball, but I was a volunteer coach, so it was like I wasn't allowed to do it after they looked into it due to me helping high school athletes and being a former player and a booster. It was going to be illegal. And I probably wouldn't do it anyway. It's just not my thing. I think it's great, but just not my thing. Okay, what does this Facebook Live here say? Natasha says, Arch Manning visit. I have not heard Arch Manning being in Gainesville. I know there's been a lot of talk there. Like I told you, I don't think Arch Manning has any chance to be a Gator. I think it's a 3-horse race: Georgia, Alabama, Texas. But we shall see. I guess Coach Finley's running a little late. She just texted me a few minutes ago. So we'll get her on here in just a second. In the meantime, y'all have me, and you can be bored. So, Natasha, I don't know if you heard Arch Manning was on campus or something. I missed that, but I don't think so. Arch is scheduled to come in the fall. Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll see. There she is. Is she ready to roll, Mr. Evan? All right. We're now welcomed by the head women's basketball coach, Kelly Rae Finley. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Sorry, just trying to get my computer all set up here. Sorry about being a little bit tardy, guys.
It's all good. It's all good. We'll just make you run some suicides is what we're going to do.
Oh, 4 for 4 minutes? Come on.
That's right. Well, we appreciate you joining the program. I got a ton of questions here. A lot of people have been wanting you on my program for quite some time. Let's just start out. Look, you've won 20 games. You're 10-3 in the SEC. I've been a Gator since I came to school here from Mississippi in '88, and we haven't been very good in women's basketball. And I know a lot of people are excited about it. How's this run been for you? I mean, you're still, quote, the interim coach. I mean, it's been a whirlwind, right?
Yeah, it's been fun. Sorry, I lost my voice a little bit last night. It tends to be the case right after a game. I'm learning those things about myself. But first of all, thank you for having me on this morning. I really appreciate it. And our team is very appreciative of the support from everybody from Gator Nation. And so we don't want to, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that first and foremost, but it's been fun, Shane. It's been really fun. Coaching these young women is just it's truly a joy. And they're fun, they're inspiring, they are tough. They're all things that you want from a team, for sure.
Well, I read some of your comments after some of the games, and you talk about how hard your team plays. And, I was a volunteer coach at the high school level after my playing days. And, I've always believed, I tell all these kids, there's two things you can control: your attitude and your effort. And as a coach, you can get your butt beat or whatever, but if your team plays hard, at least you can lay your head on the pillow at night. Just talk about how hard your girls play.
Yeah, most definitely. I was thinking about it this morning as I was getting in the car. I thought I should have said that last night in post game. It is a real gift. We don't coach effort in this program. It's something that they've all brought from day one. It's innate in who they are and how they compete, and they've embraced that. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said, our staff is, we are okay. We can live with ourselves if we give our best effort. And the next day, that team was just better than us, and then we can go back and we can learn and we can grow. But a lack of effort will be something that is hard to overcome, right? And so I'm really pleased with our effort every day. And that's not just in games, that's in practice too.
Exactly. We got a Facebook Live here brought to you by Melon Law. Lauren says, Kelly Rae is good people. Met her at the facility as an assistant. She was very gracious to me and my wife. People are loving the Lady Gators right now. All right, so you sit 10-3. You're pretty much going to be one of the top 4 teams in the SEC tournament, the way looking at the standings. Obviously, you get the bye and all that. My question to you is, when you look at women's basketball, it's always been UConn. It's been Baylor. It's been Tennessee back in when Pat Summitt was there. And recently, it's been South Carolina. I don't remember South Carolina being very good until Dawn Staley got there.
That's right.
How difficult, or not difficult, but what's it going to take for Florida? Those teams have won national titles, but just to be a consistent, top-notch program, in your opinion, what's it going to take?
Recruiting. Great players make great coaches. I think, that's something that it's funny you say that, because you said, Baylor and these other schools. I'm not so sure, people want to play for people, and it's the people that make a place. I'm a strong believer in that. And you're exactly right, because I was going to mention that about Dawn. They haven't always been the top of the league, and I think that she has done a remarkable job there. It started with their recruiting. It really turned around when they got Asia Wilson there, who was in their backyard. And I tell our players, even right now, our student athletes, that when they're on the court, players make plays. A coach's job is to put you in a position to be successful. And then players got to make plays. I will never score a bucket for the Gators. I just won't. Sure. And so I think, recruiting is the cornerstone to that. And then consistency, I think, and time, those things are huge. And, I know everybody says it's a process, but that's truly what it is.
Facebook Live brought to you by Melon Law. Cliff says, with all the success the team has had, how have you been able to keep the team focused?
Oh, like you guys, I have to be honest with you. I am so blessed. It is crazy. I just don't worry about that either. Our staff doesn't worry about that. We have student athletes that have a desire to be their best. And, we call it extra skill work. So to say, we have 20 hours a week. Rarely do we practice for 4 hours a day, right? Or however our allotted time is compliance wise. And so they've really changed from the extra work to this is what's required if we want the results that we desire, right? And so I think that's huge. And it's really a group effort, but their focus has been unmatched. And I think our mental fortitude is something that really sets us apart.
Got a couple of texts here on the Titan Mark text line for you. Roger wants to know, Kelly Rae, did you always want to be a college women's basketball coach?
That's a great question. No. The answer to that is no. And the story is crazy. I can share it with you in a short and condensed version if you like.
Sure.
Sure. I played college basketball, ended up breaking my leg, transferred. And when I graduated, I really didn't want anything to do with the big business of college basketball. I had been recruited by Harvard out of high school. And on a whim, I had emailed the coach there, who's now in her 40th season this year, and asked if I could go by her practice when I was going to go watch my brother play ice hockey in Boston. I had just remembered that I felt like it was everything right that was about sport, and that her student athletes had just a tremendous experience. And it was just a cool environment. And so I never expected her to email me back. She emailed me back right away. We met and she's like, how'd you know about the position? I'm thinking, what position? Oh my God, I'm just here just to, to be. And long story short, that's how I became the volunteer assistant at Harvard. And, my dad, I said, no, I'm not coaching. I'm not doing this. And he said, okay, Kathy Delaney Smith, tell her you're staying. I'll ship you your stuff. I'm like, what? But they're not going to pay me. And he's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Figure it out. And so that's how it all started. And she really, really taught me everything that was right about coaching and how to make a positive impact, I think.
That's awesome. John's got a question on Facebook Live for you here. What makes a good recruiter in the state of Florida filled with plenty of top women basketball players, or are they in other parts of the country?
Oh man, it's really the world at this point for women's basketball. I think, I think you really have to have a pulse on the best players all over the world if you want to compete. A lot of Canadians, European players that just have a tremendous work ethic and a knowledge of the game. And then what makes a great recruiter? I think you just have to be real. And what's good for one person isn't necessarily good for another. And so not every place is a great fit for every person, right? And so I think just really investing time and building that connection to see, do your values align and then go from there.
Lauren says on Facebook Live here, let me pull this up. This was interesting. He said, as a sneakerhead, I think Kelly Rae's shoe game is not highlighted enough. Her kicks are hot.
Oh, did you like those bright pink ones yesterday? They're not the most comfortable on my feet. My favorites are the ones. You'll start to recognize or realize that for sure.
Okay, I got John says here on the Titan MR text line, coaches are always on the grind. What do you enjoy doing away from coaching?
Oh, I love to travel. I'm kind of more introverted, probably. I love to stay at home. But my favorite place in the whole world is Hawaii. I'm blessed to be able to go there and travel and spend time with my family. But I'm really pretty simple.
On Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, Fred asks, he says, LSU's next, and we are tied in third place. We upset them in Gainesville, and they will be ready for revenge. How do you plan for that?
Well, the word on the street is they've sold 13,000 tickets, so that's fun. Wow. I think that's exciting, and that's an opportunity that our team has earned. I think I'm into earning things. Our team is. We don't want any handouts. I appreciate the question, and I think our approach is going to be the same as what we've done up until this point in the season, and they're a very talented team. It's going to be an electric environment, and I think it'll be a great challenge for us.
On the Titan MR text line, Sharon asks, which player or players have been the biggest surprise for you this year?
Oh, great question. I don't know if there's really anybody that's been a surprise. I think that probably, the growth of our forward group has been tremendous. They're aware that, they need to continue to grow, but they've just continued to improve every single day. And I think that's helped our team be a better team, both defensively and offensively, with reads and catches and finishes and all those kinds of things. That was something that we've really missed in the past with the inside presence, and they've really rose to the occasion. So I'd say Faith Dute, Floor Tunders and Talia and Tatiana Weish have made us a better team in that way. And that's been a good surprise for me.
These Facebook Lives are killing me. Lauren says, Kim Mulkey's jackets versus Kelly's kicks. You'll get to see that this week. Greg asked, what has been the difference in the success of the team after you took over?
I'm not a person that's big on comparison. I think comparison robs you of a lot of joy, whether that's individually or collectively. And I think each team is unique to the year, right? And we've talked a lot about, we want to play as long as we can together, for as long as it's possible. And then when it's time for a new team, then we'll adjust accordingly. But this team is really special. Their buy-in has been tremendous. And again, I will say their mental fortitude and their desire to come together, their selflessness. And it's almost a team that has little to no ego, and has a real mature understanding of their roles. And that's been really, really fun to see.
Teresa on the Titan Mark text line. It's a long one. I'm going to kind of paraphrase it.
Okay.
She asked, are the women as active in the transfer portal as the men are? And do you plan to be active in the portal moving forward?
Great question. I think the transfer portal is key to our game. I think with the changes and adjustments, it's something you definitely have to be aware of. I would say that we're active, but there's a desire to develop, recruit high school talent. And then, I think you see Zippy Broughton, we recruited her out of the transfer portal, and that was somebody that we knew previously. And she's had great success here because of that prior relationship that we built with her in high school. And so I would anticipate sticking with the same mindset and belief towards the transfer portal. I think it's something that's really good to supplement your roster, but not something to build an entire roster around.
Yeah. Speaking of recruiting, and obviously you mentioned it earlier, a good coach has good players. Bill says on the Titan MR text line, what all do you look for when you go out recruiting girls for your team?
Great question. Okay, let's see. Where should we start?
Can you score?
Yeah, well, I think there's a base athleticism and a base skill level, right? Can you dribble, pass, and shoot? And then a base athleticism to play in our league. I think then once you get past that, you dive into the value system and really the background of the student athlete and their families. And we really believe in team building. So we don't want to recruit two players with exactly the same skill set. I think that's unique in how our team has been built, which is why I think we're hard to scout. Every night, somebody else steps up and is able to expose a mismatch or create an advantage for us in a position. So it's not just the same people every night, but that's very intentional for us and how we built this team.
And Tammy asked on the Titan MR text line, we've had more texts on the Titan MR text line today than we've had in years.
Nice. Text mark. I like it. Let's go.
Yeah. So Tammy wants to know, Kelly Rae, when you were growing up, who was the one athlete that you admired the most?
Okay. Well, my dad coached high school basketball, and I was always just around the game. I really wanted to, which it was his 70th birthday yesterday. So shout out to my dad. They had their party watching the game. But anyways, I just wanted to be, I don't think there was one player or one athlete. It was more like I wanted to be like the big girls so badly. And so I look back on my mom and I laughed the other day. We found a note that I wrote when I was in first grade. And I wrote about how much I love my sister, my baby sister, who has special needs. And she is still like the apple of my eye. And I wrote about only that. And I got to be a water girl on the bench. And it was so cool because I got to be a part of the team. And I just wanted to be like, the girls that played for him. And, he was really fortunate. Someone went to Stanford and Tennessee and played for Pat Summitt at the time and Virginia and those schools. And it was something that you grew up knowing, like, oh, I'm just going to do that. And now I realize how fortunate I was to be in that environment.
Well, you and I grew up the same way. My dad was my high school football coach. So
okay, so there you go.
So obviously, I know it was much harder being the coach's son or the coach's daughter than it was on anybody else, right?
Yeah, you know it.
Yes, there's no question. All right, before we get you out of here, Wayne asked on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melton Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Can you talk briefly about your assistant coaches?
They're wonderful. They are the engine that makes this thing run. Julian Asibe and I have known each other for, 15 years now. It was also his birthday yesterday. So shout out to Jay for the birthday win. He is, let's see, I'll give you one cool thing about each of them. Julian is an Energizer bunny. He, is always in a good mood. He always is having a great day. He is blessed beyond measure, and he would tell you that. And he just creates an environment that's easy to follow because of his selfless nature in himself, right? And so I think that that's really good for our student athletes to see. Erica Lang Montgomery obviously is a Florida grad, and so it's wonderful to have her here, but she brings a tremendous amount of experience. She was a head coach for 10 years. Her steadiness, her composure, and I've also known her for quite some long time. And then Julie Plank brings a level of execution and attention to detail that has made our group much, much better. And I think we all complement each other very, very well, just like our team. And, when you can model selfless behavior, I think it makes it easier for our student athletes to do the same. And that's what we try to do every day.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time. I know you got 3 regular season games left, SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament. We're excited to watch. I'm going to ask this because I've had a million questions about the interim tag. Will it come off? I basically I've told people you got to feel pretty good about it. Don't ruffle the feathers now. We're winning. But do you want to address that at all?
Oh, I just don't want any distractions for our team. I think I have 2 thoughts centered around it. Shane, my first thought is our goal this season has been to create a positive, great experience for our student athletes. I think that we're doing that and they're doing that. I told them the other day, they didn't have to choose to create a great experience for me, and they've done that, and I'm deeply grateful for them. And so I recognize that, and I just don't want any distractions or anything to take away from the effort that they've put in. And I did tell them the other day, this is becoming quite the narrative, but that's not the real story. The real story is how hard they work, the effort that they put in, their togetherness. I think they're inspiring. And that's what I want to be told about this season. And, when it's time to cross that bridge, we'll cross that bridge. Yep.
Well, my old college coach, the guy named Steve Spurrier, said you always play the way you're coached. So you're doing a hell of a job, and we've enjoyed watching it.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate you guys having me on, and thank you for all the questions.
Absolutely. That's Kelly Rae Finley. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow hotline. And we wish her and the girls a lot of luck the rest of the year. Hope you enjoyed today's program. Today's show's a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. We'll see you on Monday, folks.